So one, not really asset class of stock, but a category of equities is those that are likely to benefit from the infrastructure spending, and also as well as those from the what they called the Inflation Reduction Act. Yeah, that was a little bit of marketing from Congress, from the US government, but nonetheless, there are some stocks that will very likely and are already starting to hold up to benefit from some of these government actions. Like it or not, that's how it happens, okay? So this is a chart that I mentioned my colleague Serge Berger. He created this chart. I mentioned him yesterday in the video. And what this just shows you is that broad category of stocks. And you do see that these are moving higher in the past, we'll call it, I'd say about 3 months actually, but especially in the past month, they've sold off a little bit as the market itself has declined. But let me show you a few of these specifically that I have written about recently for MarketBeat. All right, here's Caterpillar. And I know for a lot of people, probably the idea of heavy equipment stocks is kind of boring. It's not some flashy tech. But you know what? Look at what this thing has done post-pandemic, okay? Had a bit of a correction along with the broader market recently, but has done very well since October. So almost 3 months now, holding up very nicely. Let's go over to a daily chart for Caterpillar. You see that? It found support here today just above its 10-day moving average. So this thing looks pretty good right now. And if you take a look here, it's had some nice revenue growth, some very good earnings growth recently. And analysts are looking at some pretty solid earnings growth for the next couple of years. So this is one that certainly, as some of these projects are implemented, as some of the municipalities, cities, counties, states, towns, as they all get their budgets ready for 2023, some construction projects, yeah, it's not like you or I are probably going to run out and buy a Caterpillar backhoe or one of their new autonomous driving trucks. And yes, they do have them, and they are testing them at a quarry in Virginia, among other places. But nonetheless, these industrial and construction applications do look very likely to make the stock a pretty good grower in the coming years. And another one, kind of in the same category, one of its industry peers, same thing, right? You see that little sideways pattern that it's holding up. This is Deere, by the way. Kind of very same thing. It closed today just above that 10-day moving average. And that's a good thing. The shorter term lines, it just shows that the recent levels of buyer support have been really good, that the institutions are not selling out. Both of these are components of the S&P 500, so they are institutional quality stocks. Let's go over to solar energy. I just wrote about these for MarketBeat recently. Now, this is a company called Enphase, solar battery, solar power systems for the home and business marketplaces. A little bit of a volatile stock here with a beta of 1.66, okay? Pretty good, some revenue acceleration in recent quarters, some earnings growth acceleration, and analysts are looking at some pretty good things here in the next couple of years when it comes to earnings growth. So again, this is another one that's holding up. It's very likely to benefit from the tax credits that are associated with the Inflation Reduction Act. And the reason I'm showing you these stocks today is because I know a lot of investors have kind of gotten discouraged going into the end of the year that, oh boy, everything is down. I mean, let's just pop over to the S&P 500, right? Looking pretty dismal. I just want to show you that there are some stocks that are holding up, and those are often the ones that are poised to set up for another rally. Okay, let's go over to another solar stock that I was looking at, SolarEdge Technology. So you're seeing kind of a similar thing, right? You've got a little, kind of trending a little bit upward here, little trend of higher lows, and pretty good revenue growth over here. This one is expected to regain earnings growth again in 2023. And you notice that nine there, negative, all that means is it was an earnings decline from 2021. Does not mean that it was a loss. So this is another one. They make solar systems, batteries, sun power, harvesting, monitoring systems, all the kinds of things that you could get a tax credit for, okay? An individual, a business, a developer of a neighborhood, something like that, could be getting a tax credit for using some of these type of products. And the thought is that these are some of the stocks that are going to benefit. And you do see here, I'm using MarketSmith, you've got this relative strength rating, 87. That just means that using its price performance over the past 12 months with more of an emphasis in recent months, that it is outperforming 80% of the broader market. In this case, it's the S&P 500. That's actually an apt comparison in this case because this is an S&P 500 component. Not always the most accurate thing to compare it to, but in this case, it really is. So this is another one that is holding up nicely and could be situated for some bigger gains just due to the market conditions that are favoring these stocks going into 2023. Let me show you one more here. First Solar, FSLR is the ticker. Same thing. It's from the solar energy industry. Now, this one is expected to post a loss this year. You see it's had some kind of shaky earnings, revenue. But you know what? Look what is expected to happen in the future, and that's what matters most. 2023 expected to have earnings of 507 per share. That's the most since 2015, okay? And again, you see this nice big boost it got back here after earnings. Now, it did miss views, but it offered some guidance that was very optimistic. And as you see, Wall Street was cheering that. I like what we're seeing here. Very strong support right along that 50-day moving average. It's actually the 10-week moving average because we're looking on a weekly chart. Oh, what the heck? Let's pop over to a daily. And you see that nice support above the 50-day moving average. So the purpose of today's video is just to show you there are stocks out there that are setting up for gains. These are the ones you should be looking at, the ones whose price performance is outpacing that of the broader market. Yes, it's okay to be looking at value stocks. I actually think value stocks are going to be doing very well going forward because growth kind of had its heyday back in 2020, 2021. However, what I'm showing you today are kind of more stocks that are already holding up well and could grow some more. And I will do another video in the future looking at some value stocks. So anyway, hope you found that helpful today, and thanks for watching.